As with GTA 3, Vice City would lead to you working with many gangsters around the island, carrying out many drive-bys, robbing many stores and offices, stealing many cars whilst engaging again with local civilians in pointless fights. Released in North America in October and Australia and Europe in November 2002, it was the second 3D installment of the Grand Theft Auto series. Japan wouldn't see their release of this game title until May 2004 when it was released on the PlayStation 2. Taking place in a 1986 fictional city called Vice City, it's based on Miami, with you taking control of the game character called Tommy Vercetti. Vercetti is a mafia hitman who's fresh out of jail and looking for the people responsible for setting him up, leading him to go to jail. Along the way, you will build up a criminal empire whilst also seizing power from other criminal organisations in the city. Selling over 15 million copies in its lifetime, this would become one of the best-selling installments of the series, whilst again causing controversy along the way. But with near perfect ratings from IGN, GameSpot and GamePro, Grand Theft Auto Vice City would become one of the best sellers on the PlayStation 2. Released everywhere in November 2003, it was another smash hit for the Mario Kart series of games. One of the biggest changes incorporated into Mario Kart Double Dash was the ability to play up to 16 people using a GameCube broadband adapter. This was a brilliant way to play against friends in the local area and really gave a new dimension to the game series. You could also now race with two characters in a kart, which when playing co-op through races made for much better two-player mode, as the player who was the better driver could obviously drive, with the second player being able to use any power-ups picked up along the way. Along with a selection of 20 characters, this was by far the biggest Mario game of all time and offered many new challenging tracks and cups to master. Receiving top marks from Nintendo Power and IGN for its near impeccable 3D graphics, this game would go on to sell more than 7 million copies worldwide and become one of the biggest selling games on the GameCube. The best selling game of all time on the PlayStation 2 and the biggest selling game in the Grand Theft Auto series so far. San Andreas was released to the world in October 2004 and would go on to sell over 18 million copies worldwide across the PlayStation, Xbox and PC. The story to San Andreas is that the main character called Kyle C.J. Johnson returns home to a fictional city based on San Francisco to attend his mother's funeral after she is murdered. Johnson sets out to find who murdered his mother whilst also meeting up with old friends along the way. Many new modes and missions were implemented into San Andreas, such as Gang War, where you battle against rival gangs in and around their patch in order to claim it as your own. You would also need to protect your gang's own patch from rival gangs trying to steal it from you. Car mods, with the ability to now amend your car throughout the surrounding cities, you could really go to town on creating masterpieces to keep hold of throughout the game. Burglaries, giving you the ability to earn a little more cash on the side of your many other illegal activities throughout the game. Mini-games, with the ability to play basketball, pool, it gave you a chance to try something slightly different in a GTA game, with the best thing being, if you lost, you could always just start a fight. Money, you can now spend on gambling, tattoos and meals. Should you spend money on any one of these freely, there will be consequences down the line, such as too many burgers would make your character fat. Multiplayer, rampages have been modified to allow two players to compete in them. Both players are shown simultaneously on the screen, meaning they must stay within close proximity to each other. Loads of fun could be had on this new mode to the GTA series, as you could now spend many hours terrorising the city with a friend. So all in all, this game is a huge success and would only leave GTA fans wanting more in the coming years. With updated graphics, new characters, multiplayer mode and minigames, this was an enhanced remake of the N64 classic for the Nintendo DS. Being a launch title for Nintendo's new handheld, they went all out on this remake of a real classic when it was first released to North America in November and Japan in December 2004. Europe and Australia would need to wait until early 2005 for the release of the DS for their versions of this game. The game is considered another big Mario title, with many factors contributing to this. Following its release in Japan, the game sold more than 240,000 copies by December 19, 2004. and was the 5th best-selling game title of the weekly sales chart that week. This game also frequently appeared on Amazon.com's sales charts during this time. In the first week of June 2006, it was listed as the 6th best-selling game on the Nintendo DS, and it had risen to number 3 by the last week of this month. So this game really helped to establish the DS in the early days. Released on the 9th of November 2004, this was the second instalment of the massively popular Halo series. As with the first instalment of the game series, it was based around the first-person shooter format, switching to a third-person perspective, vehicle use, with passengers maintaining a first-person view. Featuring a new game engine, added weaponry, and vehicles, you could play as either a human Master Chief or an alien in a 26th century conflict between human and genocidal Covenant. Bungie, the game creators, also incorporated an online mode into this title, which made use of the Xbox Live feature. Halo 2 was actually the most popular video game on Xbox Live until the release of Gears of War for the Xbox 360 nearly 2 years later. By June 2006, more than 500 million games of Halo 2 had been played, and more than 710 million hours had been spent playing it on Xbox Live. All this said, this game was a huge hit in 2004 and would have been a must-have gift for any Xbox gamer. Being delayed by a year and a half, it was eventually released to Japan in late December 2004 and North America and Europe in March 2005. This would become one of the biggest selling racing games of the year. This installment of the game featured 51 tracks, many of which were new or modified versions from old Gran Turismo favourites, 700 cars and 80 different manufacturers. All in all, this was a far more in-depth game than Gran Turismo 3. One of the only major criticisms of this game was that it continued with a lack of rendered damage. Instead of actual damage, the cars, depending on the speed and the angle of which the collision occurred, simply bounce or spin off of the car, wall or other obstacles. This installment of Gran Turismo would fail to sell as many copies as Gran Turismo 3, at just over 9.5 million copies. But that said, it would have still been a very well received gift over the Christmas period for any car gaming enthusiast. Released in Japan in April, North America in August, Australia in September, and Europe in October 2005, this game, as a pack-in title and a standalone title, would more than triple the sale of Nintendo DS games upon its release, and would go on to sell more than 23 million copies worldwide. The object of this game is that it allows you to own your own dog. You can play with it, buy it toys, even speak to it through the microphone feature that was built into the console bundled with the game and also released at the same time as Nintendogs. This game would win so many awards on its release for being a real innovation title in the style of interactive games becoming available on the DS. It's still a massive seller today and will keep players enthralled for hours. Rolled out across Japan, North America, Australia and Europe from November to December 2005, Mario Kart DS was one of the best-selling games over the Christmas period 2005. It would also receive rave reviews from Nintendo World Report and X-Play, both of whom would give this game full marks. With the addition of Wi-Fi to the DS console, this meant Mario Kart DS could be played with ease against friends without the use of any cables. This was a real plus to the game series, and would be one of the key features to this game. It would stick to the basics set out in previous Mario titles before it, where you would choose any Mario character and race across different themed lands. It's still selling strong today and has so far sold over 16 million copies, another great addition to the Mario Kart family. So anyway guys, this sums it up for my Christmas video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it and it's rekindled many memories along the way. Please feel free to rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all again in the new year.